It's 1870, and this 7-year-old named George Stanton has just been sent to prison. You can just imagine how scared he'd have been at such a tender age. He was born in Blackthorn, Oxfordshire in 1863, to parents William and Eliza. He came from a respectable family. His father worked as a blacksmith. In December 1870, he was charged with having stolen an axe, the property of Lewis Taylor. Lewis was doing some hedge cutting and banking for Mr. John Ryan. He went home for some dinner about 12 o'clock and left his tools where he was working. When he returned, he noticed the axe was missing. A man named Plowman Terry was working in the adjoining field, so Lewis went to ask if anybody had been about. He said he had seen Stanton passing by, but he did not know if he took anything. He then informed PC Joseph Taylor, who took Stanton into custody. They took the boy to where he was working, and the prisoner went 30 yards off and pointed out the place where he had seen the axe. He went and took it out himself and gave it to the policeman. After being questioned by the police, he admitted hiding the axe in the hedge. He was found guilty and sentenced to 14 days imprisonment. After the bench gave their decision, the prisoner's mother came forward and asked what was to pay. The chairman told her there was nothing to pay. She said it was all through spite on the part of Lewis Taylor, and he took that way of letting it out. George worked as a blacksmith, but by 1891 he had moved to Waddesdon in Buckinghamshire. He worked on the estate of Baron de Rothschild, where he was in charge of the aviary and the show animals. In 1892 he married Mary Ann Ward at the Wesleyan Chapel in Waddington, and over the next 10 years they had 3 sons and 1 daughter. In 1913 his co-worker John Crowley, who was a groom, went missing from the estate. George found his stick floating in the duck pond. It was floating close to the bank, partially covered by leaves. After the pond was searched, his body was recovered. There was a slight concussion on the forehead, but he could see no marks of violence, and there was no indications of poisoning. A verdict of accidental drowning was given. All 3 sons served in World War I. Sadly, their son Frederick never returned home, as he was killed in action. His wife Mary Ann passed away in 1937, and George in 1944, aged 81. One of the best known and loved figures in Waddesdon passed away last Saturday in the person of Mr. George Stanton. He went on to say he worked on the estate for 40 years, and many people will remember him in the time of Baron de Rothschild, and again with Miss Alice de Rothschild, when he was in charge of the aviary and the show animals, mountain sheep, deer and llama, etc. On his retirement, he was able to indulge in his hobby as a carpenter, and his workshop became quite a centre for the village. He was also a great reader and took a keen interest in the events of the day. He had been in failing health for some weeks and died at the age of 81. So rest in peace, George. You will be remembered.